Buenos días.
Good morning,
Buenos días a
everyone.
todos. Buenos días. Quiero
I want to
agradecer a la
thank the
ministra de
Minister of
Capital
Human
Humano,
Capital, the
el secretario
Secretary
de
of
Educación,
Education,
el
the Governor
gobernador de
of
San
San Juan, and
y a
all the
todas las
provincial
autoridades
educational
educativas de la
authorities
provincia que están
gathered
aquí
here.
reunidas. Porque hoy estamos mirando de frente por
Because
primera vez
today
un
we are
problema que la
facing,
Argentina
for
ha
the
evitado
first time,
aceptar
a problem that
y que la
Argentina has
política ha
avoided
querido
accepting
esconder
and that
debajo de la
politics
alfombra
has
por
sought to
demasiado
sweep under the
tiempo,
rug for too
ya sea
long,
por
whether out of
impericia, ya sea por
inexperience,
cobardía
cowardice,
o ya sea por
or
cinismo.
cynicism. I am
Hablo
speaking
del
of the
germen
germ
del
of illiteracy
analfabetismo que se
spreading
propaga
through
por
our
nuestro sistema
educational
educativo.
system.
Y les
I
quiero
want to thank
agradecer a los
those present,
presentes porque
because
llamar a las
calling
cosas por
things
su
by
nombre
their
y
name
hacerse
and
cargo de la
taking charge of
catástrofe
the
educativa que
educational
atraviesa el país
catastrophe the
requiere
country
mucho
is
coraje.
experiencing requires great courage.
Que los chicos secan. A ver, piden más sonido. Que los chicos sepan
Let
leer y
children know
escribir
how to
debería
read
ser
and
algo
write
natural
should
en un
be a
país como el
natural thing
nuestro.
in a country like
Una
ours,
colina ya
an
conquistada,
achievement already
como lo
achieved
es
by
para
so
tantos
many
países,
countries for
y
more
por
than
más de 100
100
años en
years.
Argentina lo fue. Pero lamentablemente,
In
hace tiempo
Argentina,
dejamos de ser aquella
unfortunately,
Argentina.
we stopped being
Y hoy
that
la mitad
country
de
a
los
long
alumnos
time
del
ago.
primario no alcanza el nivel de
Today, half of
lectocomprensión
primary
adecuado
school
para su edad.
students do not reach the
Para los de
reading
sexto grado ese
comprehension
valor
level
llega al
appropriate for their
70%.
age.
Es decir, que
For
7
sixth
de cada 10
graders, that
chicos
figure
argentinos
reaches
no comprenden
70%.
los textos
That
que
is to
leen.
say,
La
7 out of
crisis
10
educativa que
Argentine
arrastra la
children do
Argentina
not
tiene muchas
understand the texts
dimensiones,
they read.
pero no cabe duda
The
de que el
educational
fracaso en la
crisis that
alfabetización
Argentina is
está en la base.
experiencing has many dimensions,
Porque leer y
but there is
escribir
no
no es
doubt
un
that the
contenido
failure in
educativo
literacy
más,
learning lies at
sino
its
la
root.
herramienta de aprendizaje
Because
imprescindible
reading
que
and
tiene
writing
todo
are not
chico.
just another
Es lo que hace
educational
posible
subject,
cualquier
but
otro
the essential
aprendizaje.
learning tool that
Sin ese
every
pilar
child has.
fundamental,
It is what
todo
makes
lo
any
demás
other learning
es en vano.
possible.
Por eso
Without
nos
this
sorprende
fundamental
que,
pillar,
dada esta
everything
falla
else
en el
is in vain.
fundamento, solo el
Therefore, it is not
54% de
surprising that,
quienes ingresan
given
al
this flaw
secundario
in the
se egresen,
foundation,
y
only
menos de 2 de cada
54%
10
of those who
lo hagan
enter
en
high
tiempo y
school
forma,
graduate,
cuando la raíz está
and
podrida,
fewer than
el
2 out of
fruto del
10 do
árbol es
so on
malo.
time and in the correct
Por eso
manner.
digo que el
When the
analfabetismo es
root
a la
is rotting,
educación
the
y
fruit
al
of the tree
desarrollo
is
del capital
bad.
humano lo que la
That is
inflación
why
es a
I
la
say that
economía.
illiteracy is
Son
to
los
education
cimientos,
and the
la
development
condición
of
básica
human
de cada
capital
uno de
what
esos aspectos
inflation
de
is
la
to the
actividad
economy.
humana,
It is the
sin la cual
foundation.
el resto de las esferas
The
de la vida
basic
social
condition of each
no
of
puede
these aspects
funcionar.
of human creativity,
Tal como no
without
puede
which the
haber
rest of
desarrollo
the spheres
económico
of
sin antes
social
tener una
life
economía
cannot
estable,
function.
con una moneda
Just as
sana,
there
con
can
un
be no
sistema de precios
economic
libre que permita
development
el
without
cálculo
first having a
económico,
stable
no puede
economy,
haber
a
desarrollo
sound
educativo
currency,
sin
and a
antes
free
garantizar
pricing
que los
system that
protagonistas del
allows for
sistema
economic
educativo sepan
calculation.
leer y escribir.
There can be no educational
Cuando el presidente
development without
Sarmiento hizo el
first
primer
ensuring
censo de
that
la
the key
historia
figures
argentina
in
en
the education
1869,
system know how to read
descubrió
and
que el
write.
87% de sus
When President
compatriotas eran
Sarmiento conducted the
analfabetos.
first
Como
census in
respuesta
Argentine
dijo,
history in
hay que hacer de la
1869,
patria una
he
gran
discovered that
escuela.
87%
Trajo
of his
docentes de Estados Unidos
compatriots were
para formar
illiterate.
los docentes de acá
In
y
response,
construyó
he declared,
1.200 escuelas
"We
a lo
must
largo
make
y a
the
lo ancho de
homeland a
todo el
great
país.
school." He brought
En
teachers
pocas
from the
décadas,
United
el
States to
desarrollo
train
que
local
generó el
teachers
orden
and build
económico de la generación del
1,200
80,
schools throughout the
junto con las
country.
políticas educativas
In
que
just a few
Sarmiento y sus
decades,
sucesores
the
impulsaron,
development
sacaron a la
generated by the
Argentina de la
economic
barbarie
order of the
y la
generation of
convirtieron en una
80,
potencia
along
tanto
with the
económica
educational
como
policies
educativa.
promoted by Sarmiento
Esta
and his
gesta,
successors,
esta verdadera hazaña,
brought
fue
Argentina
tan
out of
inapelable
barbarism
que en
and turned
décadas
it into a
pasamos de ser
powerhouse, both
de un
economically
escenario
and
en el que 9 de
educationally.
cada 10
This
argentinos
feat,
fueran
this true
analfabetos,
achievement,
a ser el
was
primer
so
país de la
compelling that
historia de
in
la humanidad
decades we went
en
from being a
erradicar el
place where 9 out of
analfabetismo.
10
Y
Argentines
eso no
were
es una
illiterate to being the
exageración,
first
es
country
un
in
dato.
human history to
En 7.000
eradicate
años desde la
illiteracy.
invención de la escritura,
And that's
ninguna
not an
otra sociedad
exaggeration,
había
it's a
abolido el
fact. In the
analfabetismo antes que
7,000 years
nosotros.
since the invention of
En
writing,
ese
no other
sentido, y
society
como
had
herederos de
abolished
los principios
illiteracy
de
before
Mayo
us.
y de la generación del
In that
80,
sense,
este
and as
plan de
heirs to the
alfabetización que
principles of May and the
presentamos hoy no
generation
es
of
solo un
80,
programa de
this
gobierno,
literacy
sino
plan,
un deber
which we present
histórico de
today,
nuestro
is not
país.
only a government program, but a historic duty of our country. But today, a century after that feat, we have not only squandered the economic wealth bequeathed to us by that generation, but we have also regressed decades in terms of education, going from being at the forefront of the world to being the caboose of the region. Evidently, economic development and educational development go hand in hand. Just as economic decline necessarily brings with it educational decline, because a child who doesn't eat is a child who can't study, and a child who doesn't study is a child who can't progress. It's no surprise that such a thing comes from the left, Those ideas that impoverished us as a country, they also come from the left, seeking to deny and demonize Sarmiento. With all he did to uplift ordinary Argentines, it's also no surprise that those promoting these ideas are also those who, from the national government, imposed the closure of schools in 2020 and irresponsibly interrupted the educational development of millions of children. Unfortunately, literacy hasn't been talked about much in Argentina in recent decades, probably because it's less of a business than running a university. For all this, for all these reasons, today is the time to join forces between the national government, provincial governments, and society, and re-elect this pillar that is the foundation of the entire education system, ensuring that Argentine children can learn to read and write throughout our country. And with this in mind, we are presenting the National Literacy Plan, which has many elements, but one core objective, to provide resources and tools to teachers, and to raise the bar for both those teachers and their students. How are we going to do this? We are going to train all the country's teachers in literacy. We are going to provide resources to the provinces for their training. We are going to evaluate teachers throughout the country through the national government. We are going to propose incentives so that the best teachers can teach in schools with the worst literacy indicators. And also, fundamentally, we are going to assess students more and earlier to identify red flags in reading and writing before it's too late. Today, the apprender assessments are administered starting in 6th grade, which puts us behind the problem. We will administer pretend tests starting in 3rd grade. We will not be complacent about illiteracy. We cannot be complacent. Being complacent is what brought us here. We must recover the value of demanding and striving for excellence. We cannot treat students as if they cannot live up to the standards of their age. This is a change in the educational culture that we, as a government, have the mandate to promote. Demanding is good, not bad. Assessment is good, not bad. Let's be clear, assessment is not stigmatizing, as some claim. Assessment is the best tool. We have to understand whether students are developing their skills and meeting the teaching standards appropriate for their age. To refuse to assess students is to lose faith in them. That is our vocation, to recover Sarmiento's perseverance and ambition, to recover the values with which he transformed a country of barbarians into the first fully literate country in human history. The challenge is immense, but we have the wherewithal. There are many of us, not only in the national government but also in other subnational governments and in civil society, who have the vocation for change. We have the clarity to start with the fundamentals. We have the conviction necessary to undertake this change of course. Furthermore, we also have, in our favor, the technological revolution that allows us to dream of monitoring, in real time, the reading progress of all the country's students, thanks to artificial intelligence tools. And we have, above all, the commitment of an entire society that understands that primary education is the foundation of everything else. Because, as you have heard me say, from the presidential debates onward and during the process of forming the Ministry of Human Capital, of which education is one of its main pillars, is the main engine of economic growth in history. We are too important a country to have literacy problems. We are Argentina, the country of Sarmiento. The country with the most Nobel Prize winners in the region, the first society in human history, since the beginning of writing, to eradicate literacy. We cannot ignore our history and our destiny as a people. We are here to fight this battle with all the brave people who want to join us, regardless of party, ideology, affiliation, or vision. Just as in economic matters, Argentina can once again be the beacon of light in terms of literacy in the world. It only depends on us to abandon the recipe for failure and once again choose the path to prosperity. I want to congratulate our Minister Sandra Petovelo, our beloved Minister of Human Capital, for leading this battle. Like so many others, I am sure that if we work together we can make this dream a reality. Thank you very much. May God bless you all and may the forces of heaven be with you. Long live freedom. Damn it. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias.